Hi, I'm Barb Redepenning, Curator of the Lac qui Parle County Museum and Chairperson of the Lac qui Parle County 150th Celebration. Welcome to the opening event of our celebration. We chose to kick off the 150th celebration on March 6th because it was on March 6, 1871 that the legislature passed the law forming Lac qui Parle County. We hope you enjoy the program. Our MC for the program is Deron Bramer, Chairperson of the Lac qui Parle County Commissioners. Welcome, Deron Bramer.
Hello there. Thanks for checking in on things in Lac qui Parle County. 2021 is a very special year for Lac qui Parle County. It marks the 150th year, also known as the sesquicentennial, since the organization of our county. If I may, I am going to briefly introduce myself, give you a few words on the origination of our county, and then have some of our local county residents, as well as myself, give you examples of why Lac qui Parle County, we believe, is the best place anywhere to live, work, raise a family, enjoy life, and retire. Added in between will be some comments from several of our honored local legislative individuals. And finally, a list of the scheduled events to be held throughout 2021 and information of how you can get one of our visitor guides. My name is Deron Bramer, and I currently have the honor and privilege of serving as chairman of the Lac qui Parle County Board of Commissioners. Except for several years of post-high school secondary education, I have spent my entire life living in Lac qui Parle County and am very happy of having had the opportunity to do so. My roots go back several generations of German heritage in Lac qui Parle County. My family, my parents, my grandparents, and their parents have all been residents of Lac qui Parle County. I have fond childhood memories, such as my brother and I growing up and playing in the dirt under my parents' shade trees on our livestock farm, attending vacation Bible school at our country church on a little two-lane county road, to graduating from our local high school. I have experienced a lot of the great things Lac qui Parle County has to offer. I have always known that I wanted to remain in Lac qui Parle County, continue the farming tradition, and give our children and grandchildren the same experiences. My wish is that if we can continue to work together, we can keep the great experiences and way of life that Lac qui Parle County has to offer for many generations to come. Originally, the area of Lac qui Parle County was to be that area north of the Minnesota River, which the state legislature authorized in 1862. But because of the unrest in the area at the time, that initiative was not approved by the local voters affected. Thus, the county did not come into existence. 9 years later, on March 6, 1871, the legislature authorized creation of the present Lac qui Parle County south of the Minnesota River, and it was approved by local voters. The area of Lac qui Parle County as known today, according to Section 1, Chapter C of Minnesota General Laws, was established, the boundary lines defined, and organized by the legislature of the state of Minnesota on March 6, 1871. It was also approved by local voters of Redwood County and the territory, as the territory was part of Redwood County at that time. If I may, I would like to briefly read several of the sections under Chapter C describing the process. The original county board was comprised of 3 commissioners. Today, the Lac qui Parle County Board is comprised of 5 commissioners. Chapter C of Minnesota General Laws, dated March 6, 1871, reads under Section 1, the county of Lac qui Parle is hereby established and the boundary lines defined. Moving on to Section 2, it says, there shall be elected at the next general election after the passage of this act by qualified electors residing within the territory bounded as above designated, 3 persons who shall be qualified electors resident within said territory who shall constitute the first board of county commissioners for such county. Under Section 4, it says, at the time before the next general election, after the passage of this act for giving notice of such election fixed by law, notice shall be given of the submission of the changes proposed by this act. to the electors of Redwood County for ratification. In such elections, all electors favoring the change proposed by this act shall cast ballots on which shall be written or printed for change of boundary lines of Redwood County in favor of Lac qui Parle County. And those opposed shall cast ballots on which shall be written or printed against change of boundary lines of Redwood County in favor of Lac qui Parle County. It goes on to say under section 6, the county of Lac qui Parle is hereby declared an organized county and attached to the county of Redwood for judicial purposes. And finally, under section 8, it says, this act shall take effect from and after its ratification by the majority of the electors of Redwood County as herein before provided, except such parts thereof as required by elections of county commissioners for said proposed county, which said part of this act shall take effect from and after its passage. This was approved March 6, 1871 by the state of Minnesota legislature. And now, a few words from our first honored legislative guest, United States Senator Tina Smith. Ms. Smith was appointed U.S. Senator to fill a vacancy and was then elected by the voters in 2018 and again in 2020. Here is Ms. Smith.
Hi, I'm U.S. Senator Tina Smith, and I am honored to join you virtually to celebrate Lac qui Parle County's 150th anniversary. You are a vibrant and hardworking county that's critical to the fabric and future of our state. During COVID, your healthcare workers and emergency responders have worked around the clock to help keep Minnesotans safe and healthy. Your teachers are going above and beyond to support student learning, and your farmers and ranchers are making contributions to our ag economy. In fact, I recently watched the PBS special about granola made in Ely, Minnesota with Lac qui Parle flax. This is the type of innovation and community building that will drive our state forward. As you know, Lac qui Parle means lake that talks and is a French translation of the Dakota name. The Dakota tribal community is an important part of your county's history. And in my role on the Senate Indian Affairs Committee, I'm proud to represent Minnesota's tribal and urban indigenous communities. When I last visited your county, I saw another part of your history, the petroglyphs carved into rocks at Big Stone National Wildlife Refuge. These artifacts are a unique part of our and your cultural heritage. So I applaud your work to preserve them and the stories that they represent for future generations. Congratulations again on your impressive milestone. Stay healthy and take care.
Our next honored guest is Michelle Fischbach. Ms. Fischbach was first elected to the Minnesota Senate in 1996. She was recently elected to the U.S. House of Representatives for the 7th Congressional District in 2020, which represents Lac qui Parle County. Here are a few words from Ms. Fischbach.
Hi, I'm Congresswoman Michelle Fischbach. I'm proud to represent you in Congress, and I just want to take a minute to congratulate Lac qui Parle County on 150 years. I wish I could be there in person to celebrate, but hopefully I can make it to an event this summer. Again, congratulations on your 150th anniversary. Wishing you the best.
Our next legislative guest is Gary Dames. Mr. Dames was first elected to the Minnesota Senate in 2010. He continues to serve as a senator for our area. Having once been a county commissioner himself of Redwood County, Senator Dames makes an effort to hold town hall meetings in Lac qui Parle County several times a year, giving this county a voice in Minnesota's governmental affairs. Here is Mr. Dames.
Well, good afternoon. This is Senator Gary Dames, and I'd like to congratulate Lac qui Parle County on their 150th anniversary. 150 years is a real milestone, and it is my understanding that the French translation for the name Lake That Speaks is Lac qui Parle. And Lac qui Parle is a county that was established in 1871, and it drew a lot of folks to Lac qui Parle County due to the richness of the soil and its good growing conditions. Lac qui Parle has been an established county for 150 years, And they have a lot of great communities, a lot of great history. And again, congratulations on 150 years, and hope that you're good for several more years. Thank you.
Our final legislative guest is Chris Swedensky. Mr. Swedensky was first elected to the Minnesota House of Representatives in 2010. Mr. Swedensky also attends the Lac qui Parle County Town Hall meetings along with Mr. Dames.
Hi, this is State Representative Chris Swedensky. It's an honor to represent the good people of Lac qui Parle County, and I just want to congratulate you on 150 years of history. That is so great. Have an awesome day.
And now for the question of why you should live in Lac qui Parle County. Because it has a great way of life to offer and warm and welcoming people. From our fiber optic broadband throughout most of the county, provided by our local telephone cooperative that stays on the cutting edge of technology, to our independent medical facilities, and to our excellent schools, it provides high quality of life. Our county fair is referred to as the Little Minnesota State Fair, second to none other. Our rich agricultural land is our economic engine. From our hunting, fishing, snowmobile, horseback trails, to camping and exploring at our county park, attending productions at our Prairie Arts Center, along with our many places of worship, there truly is something for everyone to enjoy. Also, our many friendly local businesses make shopping an enjoyable, convenient, and fun experience. Our next speaker and local resident, Melanie Miller, perhaps can explain this much better. Ms. Miller grew up in Lac qui Parle County. She received her Bachelor of Arts in Nursing from Concordia College, Moorhead, Minnesota, and her Doctor of Nursing practice from South Dakota State University. Prior to coming to Madison Healthcare Services, she worked at Sanford in Fargo, North Dakota, and MedStar Georgetown University Hospital in Washington, D.C. She is in a field of high demand everywhere, but she chose to return to Lac qui Parle County to practice. Here's Melanie to tell us what she enjoys about living in Lac qui Parle County.
Hello, my name is Melanie Miller. My family moved to Madison when I was 6 months old, and I graduated school from Lac qui Parle in 2007. I pursued a nursing career which took me to Fargo, North Dakota and Washington, D.C., and now here in Madison. My husband Patrick was given an opportunity to take over his father's insurance business, which brought us back to our hometown of Madison. This has always been our plan, as we knew we wanted to raise our family in a small town. What we love most about being in a small town is the tight-knit relationships you form and the sense of community. The relationships formed last a lifetime and continue to interact through decades of life. While taking part in a variety of community groups, we have been introduced to many individuals and families of various age groups. We enjoy attending community functions as a family and can socialize with several other families. We find Madison as a quaint little town with much charm for a young population. Living in a small town provides young individuals with many opportunities to try new activities. While in school, I was able to participate in 3 sports as well as multiple other extracurricular activities. This is not always the case in larger schools, as most choose only one activity to master. Children are also given personalized attention in school with small class sizes. There's also a sense of relief knowing who our children go to school with as well as their families. We can trust our children to play in streets knowing there are neighbors watching and slow-paced traffic. Our stress level has also been reduced with less noise, traffic, and slower pace of living. Living in rural Minnesota also provides many opportunities for outdoor activities. You may choose to hunt, fish, golf, hike at a state park, swim at our new pool, frisbee golf, all within minutes of your home. We love being able to drive our golf cart across the road to the golf course or into town to the swimming pool or park, and then to the Dairy Queen for a treat. When compared to other small towns, we do have staple businesses that will keep the town going, such as Cargill and many more. I find this reassuring as many small towns are declining. All in all, we laugh at our siblings in large towns as we say we are much busier in our small town than we ever were elsewhere. There is always something for us to do or someone to invite for a play date. We have found the smaller town with greater opportunities a great fit with an added benefit of lower cost of living. I'm grateful for my childhood growing up in this community and couldn't imagine raising my children elsewhere.
Our next speaker is also a local resident, Janine Munster. After graduation from college, Janine taught in the Mounds View school system. She took a summer job in a law firm and found her passion and embarked on her career in the legal field, working as a paralegal and a law firm administrator. She and her husband moved to Lac qui Parle County 18 years ago after her husband's retirement. She continued to work remotely for law firms, taking advantage of Lac qui Parle County's fiber optic internet and broadband, which she found to be superior to the internet connection she had experienced in her office in the Twin Cities. Here's Janine with her monologue titled, Becoming a County Can Be Complicated.
Becoming a county can be complicated. Those of us living in Lac qui Parle County don't really think about a time when it didn't exist. To us, this odd-shaped county just below the bump out of Minnesota's western border with South Dakota has always just been there. Way before Minnesota was a state, while it was still a territory, there were only 5 counties in the whole territory which extended to the Missouri River, so even the state boundaries weren't yet decided. This area was first part of Dakota County, then Blue Earth County, then Brown County. In 1862, it was severed off of Brown County and became part of Redwood County. Later, in 1862, the legislature decided to actually form a county called Lac qui Parle County. This is where things get somewhat complicated. That county was in an entirely different area. What? There was a real chance that someplace else could have been named Lac qui Parle County? Unbelievable. Even though the legislature passed a bill forming Lac qui Parle County, the county residents had to ratify it, and the citizens of the newly formed county would have to elect their commissioners. But the Sioux uprising occurred just before any of that could happen. Everything was put on hold, and the formation of the county never happened. The original Lac qui Parle County was disbanded in 1868, and that area was merged with Stevens and Chippewa counties. In 1866, there was an attempt to form a county in this area by severing the land off of Redwood County. The name of the county was to be McPhail, after Colonel Samuel McPhail of the 1st Minnesota Cavalry, which took part in the conflict with the Sioux. He also owned property near Redwood Falls. The residents of Redwood County would again have to vote to change the boundaries of its county and form the new county of McPhail. The vote failed. In 1868, the legislature again tried to form McPhail County by severing this area off of Redwood County. At the Lac qui Parle County Museum, there are property deeds showing property owned was in McPhail County. Again, the residents of Redwood County needed to ratify the changes. Included in those allowed to vote would have been the residents of the current Lac qui Parle County, most of whom lived in the Camp Release area and in the Lac qui Parle Village area, though there was no Lac qui Parle Village yet. In fact, there was no village at all. One of those residents was John Nash. Have you heard of Nash's Grove? Yep. His deed shows that his property was in McPhail County. Back to that vote. Now you must remember that those vote ballots would have been paper ballots. And without an organized post office in the area, and of course no computers to transmit those votes, nor phones to call in those votes, they had to be transported most likely by horseback or horse and buggy to the county seat, which was in Redwood Falls. Somehow, those votes were lost. They just never made it to the county seat and therefore were not counted. Again, ratification failed. Perhaps it was because Redwood County felt a connection to McPhail. Or perhaps it was because Redwood County really liked having us around and didn't want to lose us. In 1871, the legislature again decided to try to sever this area off of Redwood County, this time resurrecting the Lac qui Parle County name. This time, the residents of Redwood County ratified the formation of the new county. Perhaps it was because it was no longer named McPhail County. Perhaps it was because there were enough residents in this area to sway the vote and their votes actually made it to the county seat. Or perhaps the residents were just tired of the legislature's constant attempts to form the new county. But finally, we became our own county, now celebrating our 150th anniversary. Happy anniversary to us.
And finally, we close our presentation with a couple songs by the Joyful Noise Singers, a Faith Lutheran Church choir of 2nd and 6th through 6th graders under the direction of Miss Linda Anderson. Thank you.
We're the Joyful Noise Singers. I'm Cooper Smith. I'm Ashton Johnson. I'm Noemi here from Rockland. I'm Kate Italy. I'm Grace Italy. I'm Tim Italy. I'm Ava Italy. I'm Lee Fernald. I'm Margaret. I'm Glenna Hackett. I'm Ryan Beardy. I'm Parker Caldwell. I'm Kaden Lubar. I'm Graham Beardy. I'm John Monson. I'm Jake Delaney. I'm Dave Nicholson. I'm Keegan John. I'm Scott Fellow. Our director is Linda Anderson. We are so glad we are able to celebrate Lac qui Parle County's 150th anniversary. We would like to sing a couple songs for you.
Good morning, class. Good morning. Class, it's time for geography. Please take out your books and open to page 25. Maya, it's geography, not lunch.